Hello and welcome, Pauleh here, and I'm playing Space Engineers, and I'm continuing work on my space hangar, I suppose, for my space base. Now, we came to the conclusion that this little hangar on the outside is kind of ugly, so I need to do something about that. In fact, the top is as well. I have a good idea what I can do for the top, but first we're going to focus on these sides. So what this needs is some support, because right now it's just floating around. Let's see how we can do that. Question is, how big do I want to make these supports? Truthfully, not very. Not entirely sure how far down this will go. Okay, I built that in the wrong area. Let's try that again. So we actually want it there. Okay, so now we're going to have this big sort of open area. Now I can... thinking... we'll use something like that. Essentially it's just a square but on a corner. How far down can this actually go? Yeah, it won't go anymore. Fair enough. Okay, so... now I could paint this if I wanted to. Could give it a white edge all the way down. Keep it blue on the sides, or I could continue the whole colour pattern it's already had going. I'm not entirely sure on colour yet, but maybe we'll just match it with what we've got going on here. That looks half decent. Okay. Now I could make this entire face. In fact, it would probably be nice if I just go... and just do that. That breaks it up a tad. I've actually done this wrong. Okay, so the reason we do this, it breaks it up a bit, gives it a bit of colour, and I'm still not finished yet. What can we do on the surface here? So, I was thinking this is a bit too flat, and it does definitely needs to be sloped somehow. So what I could potentially do... is like a square along the top. Now I'm hoping that eventually there'll be a way to have like hangar doors. I'm not entirely sure how that would work, but that would be very cool indeed. I imagine it would just be one door which is like a very big size and can be placed anywhere. I will continue doing all the posts all the way around the edge, just for now, that can wait. Now, I apologise if this is a bit boring, but if you've watched any of my, say, Minecraft series, I tend to do a lot of building. So, it's probably what this series is going to consist of for the moment until more content is added. So, hopefully you'll enjoy some of my builds I do. Okay, the question is, can we sort of continue this a little bit? I believe I'm missing a piece. Or am I just not placing it properly? There we go. So I mean, I do have this flat area now. I'm kind of unsure what to do. Eventually I'll get in the right position. There we go. Okay, so how can we fill this bit in? So that just ain't gonna work. I might just have to do a different sort of top for this, or I could just leave it as it is. I suppose it doesn't really matter. Oh. In fact, thinking about it, I could lower it. See this will. I don't really know how these blocks fit together, if that makes sense. I just sort of place them and hope for the best. Or rotate them till they look good is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. This might. Actually, I think I preferred it when it was just sort of plain, when it was just flat. It gave it a bit more. Just made it look a bit more stronger, like a proper support would. And one thing I was saying is I could bring this up and make it higher than the corner, but I don't think I want to do that. Maybe just leaving it like that will suffice. But what else do we have? I mean, like, more items are available. Because I do have things like turrets, and I don't know how big these turrets are. Kind of doesn't work because it's on the corner there. I'll go back just leaving it like this. That looked decent. Actually, I'm gonna stop doing this. I'll leave it flat for the moment. It looks more like a support that way. So okay, I started filling this in. Question is, what can we do with it? I could put it on the top of there, but that will look kind of weird. And unfortunately, there's no flat sort of surface. So I'm just gonna have to fill this all with a cube. There we go. I'll get it eventually. Okay. So that sort of makes the roof a bit better. Sort of makes it not look as flat. However, I still need to go around and add on all the corner pieces. To be honest, that isn't much of a problem. I can't remember how I did them now. Keep thinking I missed a piece there, it's just the lighting. Okay, so that worked out nicely. I think what I'm going to do is quickly go around and get all these supports on, so you don't have to watch me continue building them because it is a bit boring. And then we'll move on and have a go at something else. That'll look better if I just make it all white. Like that. I think so. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, so quickly show you what I've done. Ignore the floor for the moment. I'm looking to make a couple of squares where I can land the ship in. Hopefully having two, landing sort of pads for the ships. That's what I'm aiming for. But anyway, as you can see here, I've added supports all the way around, and they all look the same, and they'll go, varying different heights because of how far down it goes. But I think it works well, and it makes a nice looking support. Now this thing is still very plain and ugly, so it will look better once I start adding on things like corridors, rooms, stuff like that. But first things first, I need to know how much room I have, so that means getting this out of the way. Until it comes to a complete stop. Okay. Now, just for sort of measurement purposes, oops. So that is the middle. Am I right? Certainly looks that way, okay. So what is the middle of this? I'd say it's about there. Yep. Okay, so bring that down to the ground. It's just all for measuring. Whoops. Okay. So this is just so. So like a guide, really. So ideally, we'd want a ship to land in between here. And in fact, I think I'm going to need a... see how far back it needs to go. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Now I'm going to do a quick square. We'll see how big it is, and if it's too big, then I will simply make it smaller. Okay. So this is sort of the area where we want our ships landed. Now I think that's just the right size. Let's have a go, shall we? Let's hop in this. See, the middle beam isn't gonna be there once I'm finished. It's gonna be just sort of all open. So gently does it. Oops. Yeah, if that happens, it's just because I have to run this in windowed mode because I'm having issues with full screen at the moment, trying to get the resolution correct. Okay. Okay, so that looks okay. The square looks pretty big, but to be honest, that's okay because I might make another small ship, which is probably going to be bigger than this. But that fits perfectly in the red square. That's what we want. That's the landing area. Now I could make the entirety of the pad red, but I feel having the square, you know, it looks a bit nicer. Although what I could do is always make it grey. I was thinking about doing yellow and black caution lines, but the one thing you've got to remember is this is going to actually appear below in the room below. Okay, so let's float up. Yeah, that looks decent. It's a nice little landing pad. I could almost elevate it if I wanted to. Elevated landing pad. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Alright, so bear with me. I thought it was flying back then. Whee! So, yeah, one thing I can do is... So the thing is, you don't want it too high. See, that would be too high. Sadly. Unless there's an item in my inventory that's just like a flat. I've got an idea, but see, I'm thinking about making a landing pad, and what I could do is use the yeah, that wouldn't work. Scratch that idea then. I was going to use, you know, the if there was just like a flat surface that I could have used, like reinforced steel or whatever material that they have available. I don't know how strong that is. I don't know how strong catwalks are. If a ship's, you know, landing on them, they could just break. So here's the thing, I could do this all the way around. However, there are ramps and stairs. The question is, what would be best? You got to figure that with a ramp, it'll be there for cargo and whatnot. Whereas stairs, can either of them be painted? Nope. To be fair, I could put that on either side. The only problem is it doesn't give much clearance room, and I lose the in fact, let's see what, why not I go ahead and if I go ahead and do this. Mark it off, at least I know where I want it. Oh well, I can fix that in a minute. It's kind of hard to know what I want until I've got this out of the way. So yeah, I could make raised platforms. May look nicer. And I was only sort of testing out how I wanted the... See, the ramps do look okay, but... Well, you know what I could do? While it would be cool to have those on either side, I could just do this. So I'll connect them both up. And then have stairs or ramps, I'm not sure. Actually, I'll use stairs on the interior for, like, in case, just for this area I'm going to have ramps. I think ramps would work better. It'd make more sense. Okay, so we've got that there. So basically now, in fact, rather than explain it, why don't I show you? My apologies, that is getting very annoying. It'd be cool if that when you've got thrusters going up against a block, perhaps it will scorch it a little bit, the texture. As carefully does it, I don't really want to dent the floor, but that's the point of these blocks, is that if the landing pad does get dented, it won't really matter. It could always be replaced, unlike if you were denting the floor. It could affect the room below, you never know. So okay, we've got this sort of area done now. Doesn't look half bad. Now I'm wondering, should I add I could have made it a 2 wide catwalk, but I don't think that will really fit. So if you could stack them on top of each other, that would be perfect. Sadly you can't. But anyway, there we go. This is a bit more done to our sort of space station. The hangar's pretty well complete. I do need to add lights here and there. I haven't decided where yet. And I may put some stuff around the edge still, maybe make a couple of gun platforms somewhere. Now I think the next thing on the space station is probably the room underneath, because I feel that the room underneath is where the corridor is going to come off. So what I'd probably do is use these stairs that I've just picked up to go down below, or I could use a ladder, because ladders are in the game, I believe. Yes, they are indeed. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, and make sure you join me next time. Goodbye.